right, I think I may be live. If anybody is out there, please comment in the window. I am going to be sharing with you several speeches from Cuba, Missouri that was last night at the People's Convoy, as they were outside of a restaurant called Dottie's. So if anybody is out there, please say hello. Oh, looks like I do have a couple concurrent viewers out there. Just hit the like button. All right, great. Thank you. Good morning, Donald. Appreciate the comment. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with showing you the video. I don't think the media is giving us nearly enough coverage as it needs. I continue to see, except for some of the small, local news, the national news seems to be kind of discounting this as much as possible and using words such as fizzled out. They are focusing a lot on a admittedly failed convoy that was organized out of Pennsylvania. I don't remember the gentleman's name. Apparently it's pretty forgettable because he only showed up with a couple trucks by the time he got to DC. But the People's Convoy is completely different. They are focused on ending the mandates. They are focused on making sure that our freedoms are renewed. And in addition to this huge rally that they had last night, and you'll see in the video just how many people were there, they're also going to be taking a breather. They're going to take a break where they're going to stay in one place for a full day. And that's going to be near Monrovia, Indiana. And so today, March 1st, we're going to have the State of the Union address. Oh, by the way, shout out to This Way Network. I'm going to be on there along with some other folks commenting on our dear leader. But anyhow, tomorrow, March 2nd, at 7 p.m., their local time, I'm not sure what time zone Monrovia, Indiana is, but they are going to be having a Shifting Gears, a rally for freedom and accountability. And I certainly hope that there is going to be media coverage of that and YouTube coverage of it so you can see just how many people are going to be there. It says on this flyer here, the venue will seat 2,000 and it's indoors. Everyone is welcome. Please dress warm just in case, because maybe not everybody's going to be able to fit in there. I wouldn't doubt it. And we look forward to seeing you all there. And again, their website to find all the official information is at www.thepeoplesconvoy.org. So let me put this over here. And I'm going to switch over to the video. All right, I got a few comments here as some additional people. Welcome, West Virginia Taco. Stuck in the middle, hello, hello. And I appreciate your comments, Donald, I really do. Every comment helps get this information out to more people. Since I did not advertise that I was doing a live stream. I don't do too many live streams. I'm doing this, for practice, but I think this is really important. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Let me know if you have a problem with the video, the audio or anything, okay?
There's a story behind this flag somebody gave us yesterday, but I'm going to let Mike Landis come over here, please. I'm going to let Mike tell the story of this flag, where it came from, and Mike's the lead truck in the convoy. Mike Landis here, and me and him went to high school together. I won't tell any more of that story. But, yeah, Mike. Hey, good evening, Cuba. I got to take a nice little detour coming in here through your town and let that big old bugger wait. It was pretty cool. So I appreciate you all coming out, all the support. Everybody that's participating in this is riding along with us. Man, it's been awesome. It's been a very powerful experience. Without everybody participating, we wouldn't have nothing. And without everybody that's been on the overpasses and coming out supporting us, feeding us, we would just be a bunch of people driving across this country, right? So thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. So I'm going to say this. There's a bunch of faces around here. He's one, but we went to school together, like you said, so we don't really count. But Marcus, Jeremy,
Chucky, Jim, Alan, Ruben. I could go on for a while. There's a bunch of them here. I want to tell you guys something. When this is over, you're going to have a huge family, okay? Brian and I got involved in trucking politics a number of years ago, and some of those people we named were with us when we did stuff like this for trucking and have been rocks in our lives ever since, and will probably continue to be that way. It's amazing the people you meet when you do something like this. So just be prepared for a huge extended family when this is all over, okay? With that being said, last night I had one of those people come get me and told me I had to meet somebody. Through this whole experience, we've had some awesome stuff happen between, you know, just the show off at Adelanto and the Navajo vice president coming out to pray over us out in New Mexico. It's just one thing after another. Last night, I went and I met this gentleman in his pickup truck, and he asked me, he's like, "Are you Mike, the guy with the cab over?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "So, my grandfather was in World War II. He drove a tank." I was like, "Oh, cool." And as he's telling me this, he pulls this out, folded in a triangle. And I immediately started crying because I knew exactly what it meant. And he asked me what I thought about flying this flag, that his mother, which is the daughter of this guy that was killed in action in Germany, and him have spoke about this for the last few days, and that this movement was the first thing since he died in Germany that reminded her of freedom. And that she realized it was going to get tattered and it was going to get dirty. And it didn't really matter to her as long as she got whatever was left of it back when we were done with this mission. So, today I was not the lead truck. Alan was the lead truck because I went to a fab shop in Joplin, 4 states, and basically walked in and told them, "I'm taking over your shop. You need to build me a flagpole that can hold this piece of history, because this thing has been folded for 70 plus years like this, and it's about to see the air again." That flag was draped over a casket coming home from Germany in the 40s. And I will deliver it personally with my truck back to the lady that it belongs to when this is over. So please give that family a round of applause.
Doesn't look like this is fizzling out, does it?
Take a whole lot more. So here's Brian. I can't talk now.
Every stop that we've made, every town we've driven through, every interstate we've traveled across, has been nothing but absolute love and support for this movement.
That is the truth. I've seen so many pictures.
I said earlier today, we stopped in this town, and I said earlier today about why I do this, why I'm involved, why am I a part of this, and really it's why are we a part of this? It obviously can't be wrong. We're not on the bad side. We're on the good side when you look at all the support that is going down that highway across this country. We are the good people.
Amen.
We are doing this for all of our own reasons. But my reason is for my daughters, it's for my family, it's for my mama. It's for the teachers, healthcare workers. It's for my community. It's for all of our communities. I don't care if you're on the left side or the right side of the aisle. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care where you come from, what country you're from, your background, what you believe in, don't believe in, who you worship, who you don't worship. I don't care. What I care about is you right here as Americans in this country. You are Americans. No matter where you come from, you are here today, and you are Americans. We are all Americans. But we're also humans. We're human beings. On a global scale, we are all citizens of the world. Now I'm going to match those two up. We're Americans and we're citizens of the world. In both instances, they have stripping away our rights. They have stripping away our American freedom. They are trying to mandate something that they should not be mandating, as that mandate violates our constitutional rights. And as a human being on a global scale, it violates our God-given rights. We cannot stand by anymore and allow this to continue to happen. And truckers around the world, I encourage you, I beg of you to stand up. The world is ready. The world needs reminded that these governments all around the world, that they work for us. I'm not going to take up much of your time tonight because I want to hang out with the people. This is the People's Convoy. We're going to hang out. So I'm not going to do much more than what I just did because I love every single one of you and I get pretty boring. We got a lot of great people here tonight that I want to try and recognize or give them an opportunity. And the next person I really want to talk right now is Miss Maureen Steele. If you could come over here, please.
I got to see these people out of Adelanto. It's grown so much since then.
From the very beginning, 3 weeks ago, it feels like 3 years ago now, but she was really the first person to reach out to the trucking community and say, I want to help. How can I help you guys? How can I help? And she brings a lot of talent and skill to the table to help us get organized, because we truck drivers, we can't even agree on the same cup of coffee. She came in and she has helped us at the core level, at the foundation of this. She's been a part of it, and she helped us get organized. And she's been my right ear almost the entire way. She's an amazing person. I don't know where we would be without her support. Thank you. I'm going to let her a chance to speak a little bit, but I want all of you to give this woman a round of applause.
Hey, if any of the people that are watching out there can share this and get some more people on this, I'd like to have a great conversation going on.
Here in Missouri, and you know, Brian was talking about freedom earlier, and being on this journey across the country and having gone through what we've all gone through over the last 2 years with the pandemic, what I've learned the most is that freedom and love of country is alive and well in the United States of America. There's no shortage of that at all. And what's more overwhelming still is the kindness of the American heart. The generosity of the American people is second to none. Wherever we have rolled into, meals have been rolled out, not only for the truckers, but for everyone there with us, thousands of people that come. It has just been just extraordinary, and I want to share all of those words with you. In the back of the bus that we ride in, we have a Rubbermaid bin, and in that bin is letters from American people. It's especially the letters from the children that we all find the most moving, and you see some of these 250-pound truckers getting all misty-eyed, with little girls that empty out their piggy banks, sending the truckers, you know, all the money they have and a piece of candy in an envelope, you know, thanking them for being heroes and for, you know, maintaining their freedom. One of my favorites was a little postcard from a little boy named Travis, who said to the hero truckers, "Thanks for keeping me free. I love you," and he taped a cookie to it. It's beautiful gestures like that. An elderly woman who didn't have money and she couldn't come to the overpass, but she had someone deliver handmade pot holders just because she wanted to give them something and thank them for restoring freedom. And this is the kind of beauty of the American people that we have seen every inch of this journey. And it spills over to all of you being here tonight. So I'm so proud to be an American citizen, to be part of this movement, to be part of, the tip of the spear with these truckers who have been so selfless, as blue-collar America has always been when it comes to fighting for our freedom. They are always the first to throw their hat in the ring when it comes to fighting for freedom. And they're doing it again today for us, and we owe them a world of gratitude. They're nothing short of heroic, and I'm so proud to be standing here with them today. Thank you.
There's a lot of amazing people. A lot of amazing people involved in this. Next, I'm going to have up a guy that I didn't know anything about. I'm still learning about him every day, but every day he continuously impresses me with his professionalism and his patriotism and his dedication to the causes he believes in. Josh Owen, welcome up.
Good evening, Patriots. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I love these crowds. Americans are showing up for the cause of freedom. That's something that's so impressive. It hasn't happened for so long. It's taken too long for this to happen. We're all here because we believe in freedom. And the reason that you're here, and the reason the truckers are here, and everyone else is supporting them, is because we understand that with freedom comes a great responsibility. And people are here to answer that call, and take action, and make sacrifice. And that's how we're going to keep this country free. The truckers often go unnoticed in this country. They work in the middle of the night. They don't get the recognition they deserve. And they finally had enough along with the rest of us, and they decided to do something about it. I'm an airline pilot by trade with U.S. Freedom Flyers. And we stood up back in August to fight these mandates that came into our industry. And the reason that I'm here is because when we had that hurdle that came to us in our industry, a lot of truckers came and joined our organization, and they helped us. They helped us financially. They donated to our legal cases. There was so much support still to this day on my email. I get hundreds of emails from truckers, supporting us. So when this cause came to my attention, I had to be involved in it, because I want to support those who support us and to support you. We all need to stand together for the cause of freedom. Standing together, we can actually make fundamental changes in this country.
Absolutely.
And speaking about standing together, I want to draw attention to one specific individual. You may or may not have heard of him. He's a street preacher in Canada. His name's Pastor Archer.
I believe he's from Poland.
Pastor Archer has been fundamental in the freedom movement, both here in the United States and in Canada. He's been arrested multiple times for doing the right thing, for standing up for his people, for standing up for you, for standing up for the global population. And once again, he was just recently arrested again for supporting the truckers. He was doing nothing but speaking to them, bringing them food and water. They arrested him, they've thrown him in prison. And he's currently in prison as we speak. He has given so much to the world, and I'm asking you tonight to help me, to help others help him. I want you all to please go to Free Pastor Art. I believe it's freepastorart.com. Is that correct? And when you go there, you'll see, I believe it's on March 9th. They're looking for volunteers to go to the Canadian consulates all across this country and in Canada to organize vigils for him. There's phone numbers that you can call both in the U.S. government and in the Canadian government to demand his release. So please get involved. What the truckers are doing for all of us, we can also do for Pastor Art. And I think it's so important, to support these people who have really given it all. He's lost everything. He's been demonized in the media. And we need to get him out, because when we get him out, we're going to bring him down here. And we're going to take him on tour, and he's going to speak to you in person. And he's going to speak to the fundamentals of God and freedom. So thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate you all coming out, and we ask for your prayers on this journey. Thank you so much.
Pastor Art was one of the few pastors that spoke up against closing churches, and he was arrested to begin with because he was keeping his churches in Canada open. And so, yes, definitely, please show your support if you can. March 9th at noon at any of the Canadian embassies around the world and around America.
I'm going to add a little bit, if I can keep my voice. I'm going to add a little bit here. The organizers of the Canadian Convoy, to my last update, they're still sitting in jail also for standing up for their rights. Keep that in mind. Standing up for their rights, they were thrown in jail. That's the direction that we've been heading as well. We need to stop that. This convoy, there's a lot of trucks. Yes, we're standing on a truck. We're talking a lot about the truckers. It might have started with the truckers. Truckers might have stood up and said, we're going to do something. But this is the people's convoy. There are campers, there are buses, there are cars, there are Americans. We the people. This is the people's convoy, and even though the trucks might have started it, it's the American people that are going to finish it.
Amen.
I'm going to bring up another amazing person. She has a way that I have to make her follow me because I can't ever follow her up correctly. So I'm going to just let her give her own introduction. She's amazing. Here you go.
Hey guys. How we doing in the Zoom tonight? I can tell by looking at the size of you that you all love freedom. So before I forget a very important point, the food trucks are coming, I have heard. I'm not sure where they're going to be, but I'm sure you'll follow your nose to find them after this. I'm going to say...
Hearing from some of the truckers that live stream this, they haven't paid for a single meal on this trip. That it's all been covered by donations. It's just awesome.
A little something different than what I've been saying the last couple of times. For those of you who don't know, I'm a human rights attorney, and up until March of 2020, I spent a lot of time on the ground in Southeast Asia. I work in a town that has nothing but brothels in it, 140 child brothels by last count. It sits on the Thailand-Malay border. It's called Sungai Kalak. There's a river that divides the two countries, and on the other side of that border are nothing but radicalized insurgent bomber training camps. And these guys come over the river and they buy the children. And then when they're done doing that, they go back across the river and use those brothels as target practice, such that on an average calendar year, 330 bombs go off in a year out of 365 days, which for those of you who are bad at math like me is a bomb a day except for about a month. I work in countries that are communist. I work in countries that were recently communist. 90% of the girls in the south of Thailand come from Sawanakhet, Laos. It is a communist country. It is a country so damn poor that mothers will sell their eldest daughter to a brothel so that all 7 of their children don't starve to death that year. Communism comes in and promises people we will all be equal. But what they really mean is we will be equally poor, and if you resist us, we will shoot you face down into a ditch like they did in the killing fields in 1970s when I was a child in Cambodia, and Pol Pot and communism came to kill a quarter of their population. There are truckers we are riding with right now who have escaped communism already once this lifetime. Pastor Archer is another example of a man who has already escaped tyranny and totalitarianism once this lifetime. I don't know about you, but I was moved to tears. Ugly, racking, can't catch your breath, crying, sobbing tears when I saw that first video of him going, out, out you communist bastards, out of my church, you get out of my church. That man knew what totalitarian tyrannical takeovers looked like, and he was not about to let it take root in his country or in his church, of all places. And God bless him for it. I'm going to repeat that website. What is it, Joshua? freepastorart.com. And I want you, as a personal favor to me, to do exactly what Joshua Yoder of U.S. Freedom Flyers asked you to do a minute ago. The truckers who called me a few weeks ago to spitball and brainstorm how they could get their message out, we're not just looking for a right to work unfettered, unencumbered, unrestricted, for the right to deliver goods to deep, dark, bad night, winter of Canada, -30, after 2 bad leaders said you can't cross a border unless you go do something medical that they didn't want to do. These truckers are fighting for freedom, but make no damn mistake, they are fighting for something even more, even greater than that, and that is the right to be free from totalitarian takeover, and don't you forget it! God bless them! Freedom! Freedom! USA! 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 I find it ironic, but not really, that when we rolled out of Atlanta, we rolled out of there with only 2 groups supporting us besides mine. The Unity Project, God bless them, and the American Foundation for Civil Liberties and Freedom, which is running the website and collecting the donations in a way that is hopefully going to be impervious to the shenanigans that Canada put against the Canadian trucker donations. Those 2 organizations deserve our respect because they are making this, and by that I mean the quest for freedom that is brought to you by the American truckers, they are making this possible. I, however, was a little shocked that it was largely truckers and mothers who rolled out of Atlanta Stadium, and that a lot of other groups did not do so. But on further reflection, it didn't surprise me much at all, because the mothers are renowned for protecting their children, and the truckers are renowned for having the guts to do what needs to be done in the middle of the dark, cold night of Montana to save their brother if he's down in his rig. God bless the people who are at the tip of the spear and fighting for our freedom. God bless them. God bless them. The truckers' message, if I don't mistake it, is very simple. They don't believe in what divides you and me. They believe in what unites you and me. They don't really give a rat's behind if you're blue, black, yellow, red, some other color, white, purple, in between. They don't really care where you pray or if you pray on Sunday. They don't care what your God is called or if you don't believe in God. They don't care what gender you are, who you want to marry, who you want to date. All they care about is, are you an American? Do you believe in freedom? And are you freaking willing to fight for it?
Peacefully.
Peacefully, because I know we're on the radar of every triple-letter organization from coast to coast right now.
They have started and ended every day with prayer, too, by the way.
To segue to the fact that this has been a 100% law-abiding, peaceful, safe journey. We have done 6 states in about as many days. We have been greeted by crowds just like this in the middle of nowhere, where you don't even think they have 5 people living in the county, let alone 500 or 5,000. Every overpass has been chock-a-block full of people. Every overpass. And when we started hitting New Mexico and Texas, those overpasses weren't just full of people. They were full of first responder vehicles. They were full of fire trucks. They were full of firemen standing on their fire trucks waving their flags. They were full of cranes holding their flag high.
This convoy has been getting so big that they have been having to update their routes and update their planned overnight stays. So there has been some disappointment with people not keeping up on things. So make sure you are following thepeoplesconvoy.org to make sure you know where they are if you plan on meeting up with them.
We are going toward D.C. We're not going into D.C. and y'all know why. They are headed there with a message. By there I mean the East Coast in general, with a message that it is time to end these abusive, divisive mandates that call you less than me or me less than you, or you can't associate with me because you got a shot and I didn't, or vice versa. It is time to end that. It is time to get back to living and loving and making a damn dollar so we can pay our mortgage. And God bless these guys again because they are leading the way in that charge.
This is awesome.
I did not know the story Mike, I think, told you all about that flag. And maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm a little brain foggy tired. But does that flag look different than the ones that are made that you buy at Walmart?
A little bit.
Doesn't it look brighter?
It's like 70 years
I think it
old,
looks
too.
brighter. I think we need to fly that flag. You know, I'm the grandchild. Actually, I'm the great-great-great-great-grandchild of Patrick Henry, who said, "Give me liberty or give me death." But I am also the grandchild of a man who stood on the decks of the USS West Virginia on December 7, 1941, as his ship was bombed out from under him. And I am on the other side, a descendant of grandparents who came from Eastern Europe fleeing communism. And in my family, you grew up saying, "Yes, sir," you bowed your head in church, and you flew that flag high, because that flag represents freedom, and that is the only damn thing that matters. God bless you. God bless these truckers. And you can find us at thepeoplesconvoy.org.
It's amazing she has a voice left.
Hey, I got a...
Wow.
Before we bring up our next guest speaker, I want to bring up Mike Landis real quick. One of our... I'll let him explain.
So I guess I should have done this earlier, because now I'm back up here. I really don't like a whole lot of attention on me, so I'll make it kind of quick. If any of you have been following along on Facebook at all, you've noticed the name Chris Young. Well, Chris and her husband Scott have been working tirelessly on this. He's been going around with the truck collecting donations out of the Northeast. They were supposed to lead the convoy out of Maine tomorrow. Chris has been a rock, working like 20-some hours a day to keep social media pages cleaned up and spammers off of it and negative comments and just making sure that information's put out. Last night, Scott had a heart attack and had to be taken to the hospital for an emergency bypass operation and some stents. I am not a pastor, I am a man of God, so if we could all bow our heads for a second, I'd like to say a prayer for their family. Lord, we come to you here tonight not to ask for anything for us, the truckers, or the people in this convoy, or even the people supporting us, but to be with one of our family members that I explained about earlier. Chris and Scott, while preparing to come and fight this battle with us, had some serious tragedy happen. Scott had his heart attack. He's in the hospital in ICU right now, expected to recover, but it's going to be a rough road. And we pray, Lord, that you watch over that family. You give them the strength. You give Chris the strength to recover and help Scott recover and help him pull through this, because without them, this wouldn't have been possible. And I mean that with everything, because they have been extremely awesome behind the scenes with making this whole thing happen, all while watching their grandchild and running a business and helping us fight for freedom. So we ask you to please watch over them, give them the strength, and let them pull through and join this fight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for praying for Chris and her husband, fellow trucker. Right now, I'd like to bring up a woman who is going to introduce a man that most of you know. I only met him for the first time earlier today. But what a gem he is. Former Navy SEAL, I think, former governor. You guys know what I'm talking about. Come on up, my dear, and introduce him. Do it right, because you're going to do it better than I do, because you know him.
Thank you. Hey, Patriots, grassroots from across the country right here in Cuba, Missouri. I'm just a little old lady from Robertsville. My name is Robbie. And I got active like you are now. And you know what? We have some tools in our disposal, and I consider these truckers one of the most magnificent tools this country could have ever come into contact with. When I go to bed at night and I think about this, I feel safe. You know, when our legislators are home, when they're out of session, I feel safe. Our liberties are safe when they're not up there. Our liberties are safe with this right here. The tools we have are our knees. We've already seen that all over the place here tonight. People praying, people reaching out to the Creator to intervene. And we also have civic duties. We also know that the reason these mandates are here is because of the powers that be. Well, you know what? We need to change them out. Change them out. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're from or on, both aisles need to be addressed. And no better than a Navy SEAL who has fought for our country. No better than a man who has a humanitarian heart for people and for liberty. And no better than a man that President Trump, as a matter of fact, just today said to watch. He tweeted out and said, watch Eric Greitens. He said, watch Eric Greitens, who is running for U.S. Senate, to change out a seat that has been open. The guy's not going to run anymore, thank goodness. And so now we're going to get Eric Greitens, former governor, Navy SEAL, in office here in the state of Missouri. Everybody say EricGreitens.com. Everybody hold up your cell phone. Hold it up. You're going to go to EricGreitens.com before you go home tonight and sign up. And with that, Eric Greitens.
How we doing, Patriots? Now I gotta tell you guys, the mainstream media put out what they said was the truth. They said that there were just a few people who showed up and they weren't making a lot of noise. Well, let them hear you that we're here for freedom and we're here strong. Let them know. We're not going anywhere. Let them know. And you know what happened? Steve Bannon called. I jumped on the war room. I literally held up my phone and I showed him that here in Missouri you have patriots from around the country and that we come together with one message, and that is that we are going to take our country back.
Can I get a hell yeah?
You know, when I took the oath to serve as a Navy SEAL, I took an oath to defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign
And domestic.
And domestic. Hooyah. And we are celebrating tonight the freedom of people and citizens who come together and say, we will not be put down, we will not be silenced, you will hear us. Freedom, 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 freedom. And I was honored to serve in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Southeast Asia, in the Horn of Africa, but I will tell you, I was in BUDS training when September 11th happened, but the greatest threat to our country exists right now. It exists right now. And folks, let's do what our founding fathers did. Let's look back at history, and what we've seen is that every tyrannical movement, you can look at Lenin and Stalin, you can look at Mao, you can look at Pol Pot in Cambodia. leftist tyrannical movements never stop. They keep progressing to more and more tyranny. Why? Because those who ride the tiger of tyranny know that if they step off, they're going to end up inside. So they keep oppressing more and more. And so the fact is, they won't stop, but we are going to stop them. We're going to stop them. Ronald Reagan said that every generation has to step up and earn freedom. That every generation has to stand up and protect freedom. And that is what we are all here to do. And the fact is, you know what scares the mainstream media? We do. You know what scares leftist tyrants? We do. You know what scares the political establishment? We do. It is people standing up with one voice. And what is so amazing here tonight, I've talked to so many nurses who came out, and you know what, truckers, you know who has your back? The nurses have your back. And you know nurses, you know who has your back? The truckers have your back. And I talked to so many teachers and truckers, you know who has your back? The teachers have your back. And teachers, you know who has your back? The truckers have your back. The fact is, we're all coming together as Americans because we support each other. And here's what's so important to remember. The left, at the end of the day, is nothing but a group of bullies. It's a group of tyrants. And one of the things that I learned as a boxer is that when you face a bully, you walk straight up to him and you hit him straight in the chin. And this is a convoy of freedom that is heading straight for the chin of tyranny. It's heading straight to the Capitol. Most importantly, remember this. Most importantly, remember this. Those bullies, they're tyrannical and they are cruel. They are cruel. People who want to keep a kid who has disabilities out of school for a year, that is cruel.
Absolutely.
That is cruelty. How do we beat their cruelty? We beat it with love.
Amen.
We beat it with love. Because what is courage ultimately rooted in? Courage is ultimately rooted in love. It is our love for our country, our love for our community. It is our love for our fellow citizens that brings all of us out here tonight to say that we are coming in off of the sidelines and that we will bear burdens, that we will sacrifice, that we will have each other's backs because we, out of love for our country, are going to stand for freedom.
Amen.
This is our moment. This is our moment. And by being out here tonight, you are doing a tremendous service to all of your fellow citizens. Because there are people right now who are worried that they're going to lose their job if they stand up for what they believe in.
People have lost their jobs.
Even asking a simple question and that they're going to be canceled off of social media and have their voices shut down.
And they have been.
Question. But what happens when they see you?
Courage is contagious.
Stand up.
Yep.
And you know what's contagious? Courage.
Courage.
Courage is contagious, and that is what we have tonight. This is courage. Let us recognize what is at stake in this moment. It is very clear. We are either going to surrender to evil, to cruelty, and to tyranny, or we are going to come together and with love and with courage and with faith, we are going to revive our republic and revive freedom. Let's do it together. God bless you guys. God bless you guys. God bless you guys.
There you have it, folks.
All right. Well, I hope that you got something out of that. I don't know if you were able to see that anywhere else on the internet. I did do a search because I don't want to duplicate effort here. If somebody else was doing it, then I would have just pointed out some links to that. But I did put the link on Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook, so that's why I wanted to put it on YouTube as well. And I'll go ahead and share this on my locals and on my Rumble also. But anyhow, good things are happening, people. And, God is giving us these trials because, it shows our mettle. It builds our mettle. There are things that you never know you can do until you are tested through fire. And I found that out by going through basic training. I saw that in my daughter as she went through basic training. She just didn't know she had it in her. I didn't know I had it in me. Being in front of a camera and speaking to, people, it's something that you don't know you can do until you feel like you're forced into it. And I think that if you're going to see a silver lining in anything, I think that's definitely a huge silver lining. And speaking of that, I am going to be starting a show called Rainbows and Silver Linings that is going to be on This Way Network. And I'm going to be doing my first recording tonight. I don't know how long it'll take before it's out there, but I will be posting on this channel to let you know when that first episode is out. But if you have any story ideas, I am looking for good news stories that just isn't out there enough in our media, and also just taking a look at things that might look like they're bad, but that we can find the silver lining in it together and discuss that. So if you have any ideas for stories like that, please send me links. YouTube does automatically suppress the links, but I can see them in the back end, and so then I can go ahead and make those live, or I can research them and decide whether or not I need to include those. But I'd really appreciate some help with that. Again, this is me stepping out in faith, not knowing really how this is all going to work out. So I could use your prayers. And again, thank you for watching this live stream. Well, it wasn't live. This was last night, but thank you for joining me in my review of it. And if you hadn't seen it before, please share this with others. And God bless, and I will talk to you next time.